Life is this.
How's it going? Welcome back for part 2 of expensive baby shit you don't need and what you actually do need, I guess. We touched on a lot of the big ticket items in the last episode, and probably move on to those sort of smaller things. Now, obviously we spoke about the pram, but sometimes you don't want to have to take the pram, so you're looking at other ways to be able to carry the baby carriers, essentially. I guess we bought just the clip-up ones, one of the fairly good ones, and it's pretty comfortable, but we found, because the young bloke was fairly small when he was born, that he's only just sort of getting to the point now where he kind of fits better in the clip-up baby carrier. So sort of more prior to that, we ended up being given one of the long wraps, soft material wraps, and as awkward as they can feel and unsure you are about tying them up, even I found it was fairly comfortable and fairly safe to use. So, you know, I guess depending on the size of your baby and your own body type, probably sort of depends on what sort of carrier that you may want to buy, depending on sort of what your kids like as well, your lifestyle. But it's probably something that you can spend a little bit of money on them, but yeah, as they get older, I think if you want to be able to have a fairly active lifestyle and take them walking a lot or hiking, then probably spend the money on getting something decent that's going to be comfortable for your child and for yourself. What else? Nappies. You're going to go through so many nappies. And something that I didn't know, and I don't know how many people else sort of know about it, but just because a nappy says it's, say, a size 2, doesn't mean it's the same size 2 as another brand size 2, which can be helpful at certain points, because we found the young bloke, as he sort of was growing, he ended up as a bit of an in-between size for one certain brand, and when we went to a different brand in the same size, it fit him fine. And then by the time he was sort of out of that size, we kind of went back to the original brand in their one-up size, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. I really didn't think there would be that much of a difference in sizing. Kind of expect that if you're getting a size 2, that you get a size 2 nappy. But it's just something to be mindful of. If you're finding that your baby's nappies are getting too small, but the next size up's too big, maybe try a different brand in that smaller size first and see how you go. Actually, something I bought for my missus during pregnancy, there was a few things that we got. One was pregnancy pillow. I don't know how good the audio quality is going to be in this, because it is bucketing down rain while I'm on my way home. Wow. One thing was the pregnancy pillow, and it was a 3-part pregnancy pillow. She found it fairly good majority of the time, and also is a lot smaller than a full body pillow, which I have heard some men can find difficult sleeping with, because by the time you put your missus and yourself and then a pillow that is the size of a whole nother person, if you're already maybe co-sleeping with, you know, a toddler, there's really not a whole lot of room left in the bed. So that's probably something to be mindful of. But yeah, they can be not overly expensive, but I'd probably recommend them, because I did find that the missus slept better with it at various stages of her pregnancy. There was times when she couldn't use it, but there was also plenty of times when she could. What else? As far as baby stuff goes, you know, toys, clothes, and things you sort of forget about, like towels and washcloths. A lot of that sort of stuff, depending on your family and friends situation, will be kind of provided with the baby shower. And you know, sometimes people get excited about babies, so they just buy baby things. If you don't have that kind of network, then obviously it's going to be a little bit harder. But the good thing is you can kind of start early anyway, like I mentioned yesterday. I think another big thing that we got, which would be sort of, it's totally optional, you don't need to have one, but it was something that I found, or that I wanted, to kind of be able to separate certain things. But it was essentially a breastfeeding lounge. I imagine any kind of lounge would maybe do, or a certain seat, but the lounge that we got is sort of designed for breastfeeding. It's got harder arms. It's small enough that you can get in and out of it without having to move too much. It reclines just by body weight. It comes with a footstool as well. I guess the main sort of reason that I originally thought about getting that was I didn't want my missus to have to sort of, you know, for her to be comfortable and have to feed in the bed, especially in those first few weeks. I kind of wanted somewhere for her to go where she was comfortable and able to feed without it being in the bed that she was supposed to stay in. So me personally, I would recommend a breastfeeding chair. It also then comes in handy. We sort of use it at night time now to put the baby to sleep in his own cot, and then the missus will use it during the night to feed him as well. And it's not a bad sort of, yeah, it's not a bad bit of furniture. It doesn't take up a whole lot of room, and it wasn't overly expensive. Like, don't get me wrong, it was pricey, but I think it's something that we're going to continue to use pretty much up until the young fella goes to being in like a decent sized bed. We probably may even still use it after that, just because it is handy to be able to sit in his room Yeah. Just trying to think what else. There's plenty of stuff that you can get. There's so much stuff now, especially for babies, like toys and mobiles. Actually, technology and babies. So we got a sound machine. It's a sound machine slash diffuser slash has a light on it. Works as a night light kind of thing. And we found that it helps. Especially with having two older kids running around. If that sort of white noise or that rain noise is already there, he's not sort of going from kind of silent to just loud with the kids running around. There's already a bit of noise there anyway, and so I think it helps to keep him asleep. Sort of, it's hard to know whether it makes much of a difference, but it was something that we decided we wanted. Found it to be helpful. There is other things that you can get as well to help with sleep or to monitor during sleep. They have like a sock that goes on their foot, monitors heart rate and all that sort of stuff. We never got one of those. We definitely looked at it. See if we would be able to give me a bit more peace of mind, I think, especially when he went to his own room, because of how sort of worried I was about something happening during the night. These sort of like heart rate socks are good to help with that, I guess. There's also mats you can get that go underneath the mattresses in their cots or bassinets. But I did talk to a fella that I was working with, and he said he had one, and it was when they start to move around, there's more chance of them going off because your young child or your baby has moved off the mat and it assumes that they've died, essentially. So they're a bit more, there's a bit more chance of them not kind of working the way they should as your child gets older. So, alright, there's so much stuff that can be bought for a baby. There's so much stuff that can be bought during pregnancy. It's a big business. A lot of it, it's not necessary. But a lot of it can help. There's a lot of things that can sort of help with comfort for you, or either partners, or for the baby once it's born. I don't know whether other states or other countries do it, but in New South Wales, the hospital, after you give birth, will actually give you a bag with some basic necessities in it. Some nappies, different types of creams, a couple of booklets on with some information, a change table cover, a few different things. I didn't realise that was something that they give out as well. I thought it was good.